Hello guys, welcome back to my channel. On today's tutorial, I'll be demonstrating how to alter the basic bodice pattern for the back into a lace-up corset back with yoke. Hi, my name is Ayo and I'm reaching you from Lagos, Nigeria. On this channel, I upload DIYs, pattern drafting and sewing tutorials. If you haven't subscribed yet, kindly do so. And do not forget to turn on the notification bell so that you get notified whenever I upload a new video. So now, let's get right into the tutorial. Thank you. So I have here the basic bodice pattern for the back, which I will alter into a lace-up corset back with yoke. So this is what the back of the dress will look like. It will have a yoke cut on this line, and there will be tiny buttons at the center. So at the lower part of the armhole curve, I will measure 2 inches upwards like this. And I will mark the 2-inch points. I will now connect it to the center back with my curve like this. At the center back, I will add 1-inch allowance for the tiny buttons that will be at the center back. So this part will make up the yoke of the dress. I will now alter the neckline. I want the shoulder to be just 2.5 inches wide. And I will mark the 2.5 inches. I will increase the neck depth by 1 inch. I will now redraw the neckline. Then I will cut out the yoke. So this is the yoke, and this is where the tiny buttons will be. This is the lower part of the corset back. And this is where the loop will be. So I need to create the waist cinching effect by going inwards by 2.5 inches on this upper part. So I will measure and mark 2.5 inches like this. For the lower part, I will go in by 1 inch. I will also mark the 1 inch. I will now connect the 2 points together with my ruler. It is very important for you to write down how much you went in by for the waist cinching effect so that you do not forget it, especially when you are sewing the pieces together. So I will write 2.5 inches at the top and 1 inch at the lower part. So it is now time to draft the modesty panel that will be under the loop. So we went in by 2.5 inches on this upper part. So I multiply 2.5 inches by 2. I multiply 2.5 inches by 2. And I will add additional 2 inches to this. And this will give me 7 inches. For the lower part, I went in by 1 inch. So I multiply 1 by 2 plus additional 2 inches, and this gave me 4 inches. So now for this upper part, I will measure out 7.5 inches from the 2.5 inch mark that we went in by. I will measure 7.5 inches and I will draw the line like this. For this lower part, I will measure out 4 inches that we earlier calculated, starting from the 1 inch mark that we went in by. I now connect the 2 points together with my ruler like this. I can also decide to make the line a straight one. So I will make it a straight one and make it a straight line. So this shaded part is the modesty panel. I will now cut it out. So these are the pattern pieces that will be used to create the design at the back of the dress. These are the 3 pattern pieces that will be needed. So I need to close the waist dart. I forgot to do that earlier, so I will close it now. So I'll go ahead and do that now. I will now go ahead to cut out the pieces on my fabric. So I will cut out these 3 pieces on my fabric. So now I've done that, as you can see. So this is the yoke. I cut 2 pieces of it on the lace fabric and 4 pieces on the 2 nets, which I will be using to line the yoke. So this is the lower part of the back pattern. I cut 2 pieces of it on the lace fabric. Two pieces of it on the bridal satin. And another 2 pieces on the lining fabric, which I've already interfaced. So this is the modesty panel. I cut 2 pieces of it on the bridal satin. I have also already interfaced the wrong side of the fabric. So these are the yoke pieces, and this is the front part of the dress, which I've already sewn, as you can see. So I have here 4 pieces of the yoke, which I cut on the 2 nets, and 2 pieces of the yoke which I cut out on the lace fabric. So I will place 1 piece of the 2 nets on top of the lace like this. I place another piece beneath it like this. I will now pin the pieces together at the neckline like this. Then I take it to my sewing machine and stitch using 1/2 inch sewing allowance. I will do the same thing for the other piece too. So now I've done that. I will now trim the seam allowance to about 1/4 inch. I will now flip over the 2 nets such that the lace is now on the right side and the seam allowances at the neckline have now been concealed in between the 2 nets. So this is what it looks like after turning it. This is the lower part of the back. These are the bridal satin pieces. Two pieces are for the lace, and these are the lining pieces. I will set aside the lining pieces for now. So these are the bridal satin pieces with the right side facing up. I will place the lace fabric on top of the bridal satin pieces like this. The right side of the lace is also facing up. I will now stitch or secure the 2 pieces together using 1/4 inch sewing allowance. So now that has been done, as you can see. I set it aside. These are the yoke pieces. I will go ahead and close the opening at the center back. I will turn it to the wrong side like this. And I will stitch using 1/2 inch sewing allowance. So now that has been done, I have trimmed the excess seam allowance and turned the yoke to the right side. I will be using this loop to create the buttonholes for the tiny buttons that will be at the center back of the yoke. I will be using a needle and thread to achieve this effect. I'll be making use of the left side of the yoke, of the left piece of the yoke. I will insert a loop into the upper part of the yoke via a tiny opening that I left around this upper part. I will insert it like this. I will now secure it in place using the needle and thread on the wrong side of the yoke. What I intend to do now is to stitch the loop beside the center back of the yoke, like this. But first, I will mark 1/2 inch for the buttonhole opening. I will also mark another half an inch that will be closed by hand stitching. I will mark another half an inch for the buttonhole opening, and another half an inch that will be closed by hand stitching. I will mark this all the way to the end of the loop, that is the length that will be needed for the center back of the yoke. It is important that you should use an air erasable marker for the marking, or you mark very lightly so that the ink of the pen won't stain the fabric. So I will flip the yoke to the wrong side, and this is the side that the hand stitching will be done. The hand stitching should not be visible on the right side of the yoke. So what I will be doing now is to leave half an inch opening for the buttonhole, and I will close another half an inch. Then I will create another half an inch opening for the buttonhole, and then I will close another half an inch. I will do this all the way to the end of the center back of the yoke. So now the hand stitching of the buttonhole has been done. So these are the openings for the buttonhole, as you can see. I'll be fixing these tiny buttons to this side of the yoke. As you can, these are the buttons, clear, transparent, tiny buttons. I'll be fixing it to the right side of the yoke, to the right piece of the yoke. I will now go ahead and measure 3 inches. The 3 inches is the 2.5 inches for the waist cinching effect, plus half an inch for the button stand. I mark the 3 inches on both pieces of the yoke, both the left and the right pieces of the yoke. I will notch the 3 inches mark like this. I will now turn it to the wrong side like this. And I will stitch using half an inch sewing allowance. I will do the same thing for the other side as well, for this other piece as well. I will stitch using half an inch sewing allowance. So now that has been done. So this is the lining for the lower part of the back. This is the pattern that I used to cut it out. So I'll be fixing the regilling boning to the wrong side of the lining pieces. I've already marked the position of the boning, as you can see. To know the length of the regalim boning to use, I will measure the length of the lines that I've already drawn, and I will subtract 1.5 inches from it because I don't want it to get to the same lines. So I will now go ahead and cut out the length of the boning that I need. The exact length that I need, I will cut it out. I will be sewing directly on both sides of the boning, with the curved part of the boning facing up. So I will I place the boning on the lining fabric with the curved part facing up like this. I will stitch on both sides of the boning. So now that has been done, I'll fix the boning on the interface lining. So now I will move over to the modesty panel. It has already been interfaced. So I will stitch it like this. I will stitch it like this, using half an inch sewing allowance, and I will leave this side open. So now I will go ahead and pin it in place first before taking it to my sewing machine to stitch it in place. So now that has been done, I've also turned it to the right side, as you can see. So I have here two loops that I'll be using for the back loop. I will cut it into 2 inches pieces. So what I'll do now is to mark half an inch seam allowances at the upper and the lower parts. I will now mark 1 inch for the loop positions, 1 inch for the loop positions, like this. I will do the same thing on this other piece as well. With my needle and thread, I will fix the loops starting from the half an inch sewing allowance. The loops will be arranged side by side, and the loop opening should be about 1 inch wide. So now that has been done, I've arranged the loops, as you can see, using my needle and thread. I will do the same thing for the other piece as well. So now the loops have been fixed in place with my needle and thread. I will now be stitching the yoke and the lower parts together. I will place the lower piece on the yoke like this, right sides are together. I will take it to my sewing machine. I will stitch using half an inch sewing allowance. I will do the same thing for the other piece as well. I'll go ahead to stitch the pieces together now. So now that has been done, I will now bring in the lining pieces that I've already boned. I will place it on the yoke like this. The right side of the lining is facing the wrong side of the yoke. I will pin it in place. I will now bring in my modesty panel and I will insert it in between the lining and the main fabric at the center back, like this. I will make sure that the yoke is out of the way. Then I will pin it in place. I will stitch like this using 1/2 inch sewing allowance. Be careful not to stitch on the yoke. For this other piece, I will also place the lining on the yoke like this. The right side of the lining is facing the wrong side of the yoke. I will pin in place like this. I will stitch like this using 1/2 inch sewing allowance. So now that has been done, as you can see. This is what it looks like. So now I'll fix the front part to the back at the shoulder and also at the side seams. As you can see. So what I need to do now is just to fix the buttons at the center back of the yoke and also make the lacing rope. This will be done after fixing the skirt part to the wedding dress. So that's it guys, we are done. Do not forget to like, share, comment and subscribe to my YouTube channel. See you in my next tutorial. Bye and thank you for watching.